Hi, my name is Andrea Perkins, and I am a student at the University of Central Arkansas, and today I'm going to be presenting my research entitled A Co-Cultural Analysis of Students with Mental Illness on College Campuses. Mental illness is something that affects millions of people, and it affects the way they think, act, interact, and communicate. On top of this, there is a very negative stigma associated with mental illness, which can isolate people suffering from mental illness from members of the dominant group. So really, the purpose of our research is to discover the communication strategies that college students use when interacting with members of the dominant culture. We aim to give voice to our co-researchers, allowing them to share their stories so that we can learn from them and we can understand better the way that they communicate. Now, in the past, there has been research about mental illness and there's been research about co-cultural communication theory, but this has never been coupled together in research, and we are the first to do that. Co-cultural communication theory describes the strategies and processes that non-dominant group members use when communicating with the dominant in society. There are 9 different communication orientations that Mark Orbe, the creator of co-cultural communication theory, describes in his work. Now, right here is a graph that lays out those 9 communication orientations ranging from non-assertive to assertive to aggressive, separation, accommodation, and assimilation. And we'll discuss later our findings and what orientations our co-researchers fell into. Now, our research objectives are twofold. We had 2 research questions. The first was how the communication strategies in co-cultural theory are used by college students when communicating with their professors on campus and also their friends on campus. In our research, our participants were collected through voluntary response sampling, which means they volunteered for this. We interviewed 5 female college students, and we used the phenomenological approach to research. After our interviews were over, we transcribed the interviews and did a thorough analysis of the transcriptions using co-cultural theory and examining through the lens of Orbe's communication orientations. So our findings and conclusions we divided into 3 categories: communicating with professors, communicating with peers, and communicating with friends. All of our co-researchers, when communicating with professors, felt uncomfortable opening up and self-disclosing about their mental illness, even when it affected their schoolwork. The exception to this was those in the honors college. They felt more comfortable communicating about their mental illness with professors in the honors college. When communicating with peers, our researchers had varying responses. Some openly advocated for mental illness and those living with it. Others were more guarded, experiencing a lot of anxiety when it came to social situations with their peers. When communicating with friends, all of our co-researchers relied heavily on their close friend groups as support systems, and they would go to their friends when they were struggling, and they saw them as allies. So from these findings, we were able to find 3 common orientations that were used. First was non-assertive separation. In this, co-cultural group members avoid and maintain interpersonal barriers. We really saw this with the professors, their interaction with professors, in which they would not open up and share with them. Assertive assimilation is when co-cultural group members extensively prepare, overcompensate, and manipulate stereotypes and bargain. We saw this from our more guarded and anxious co-researchers who would prepare heavily before going out and interacting with peers. And we saw assertive accommodation, in which they communicate self, participate in intergroup networking, and utilize liaisons and educate others. And we really saw this when they were interacting with their friends, utilizing those liaisons, networking with other people struggling with mental illness to create community. Overall, in our research, we wanted to shine a light on the mental health community and their experiences, hopefully paving a way to a future in which those in this community do not have to carry the burden of stigma and can communicate